Imagine a shelter with no door, no walls between you and 50 other people. Every cough, every whisper, every fight, heard by everyone, all the time. That's not a nightmare. That's Tuesday, 40,000 years ago. So here's the question. Did ancient humans ever get a moment alone, or did they just never need one? Let's find out what privacy even meant before locks existed. Start with the basics. Privacy isn't a wall, it isn't a password. Strip it down, and it's really just one thing. Information or space that you control and other people don't. By that definition, privacy might be older than our own species. Chimpanzees split from our ancestors around 6 million years ago, and they already lie. Researchers have watched low-ranking chimps hide food from dominant males, then sneak back later to eat it alone. Some even fake disinterest in a mate, only to sneak off with them the moment a rival looks away. That's not an accident. That's strategy. And it means the instinct to conceal, to keep something just for yourself, predates humanity itself. Now fast forward. Around 100,000 years ago, we start finding graves. Not just bodies dumped and forgotten. Bodies arranged, curled on their side, covered in red ochre, buried next to shell beads and tools that took hours to make. Why bury a tool with someone who can no longer use it? One theory: those objects belong to that person, and only that person, even in death. A concept of mine that not even dying erased. So, privacy of the self existed. But what about privacy of the body? Picture the actual living arrangement. Anthropologists studying present-day hunter-gatherer bands, groups who still live close to how our ancestors did, describe camps of maybe 20 to 40 people sleeping within arm's reach of each other. No bedrooms, no hallways, no such thing as knock before entering. And yet, somehow, people still manage to be alone together. How? Not with walls, with rules. Turn your back to someone, and in some of these cultures, that's a signal. Leave me alone right now. Look away when someone's crying. Don't ask where they went. Everyone knows the rule. Nobody has to say it out loud. Call it a social wall. Invisible, but everyone respects it, because breaking it costs you something. Trust, reputation, a place by the fire. There's a quieter version of this too. Grooming. Picking through hair, checking skin, sitting close enough that no one else can hear what's said. Anthropologists watching modern foraging groups describe this as one of the only truly private moments in daily life. Two people turned slightly away from the group, trading secrets while pretending to just be picking out lice. It looks small. It wasn't. That's where alliances got built and where warnings got passed along, quietly, out of earshot of the person being warned about. And this shows up even more clearly around one very specific human activity: sex. Most animals don't hide it. A pair of baboons will mate in full view of the troop, and nobody reacts. Humans are strange here. Across wildly different hunter-gatherer cultures, in dense rainforest, in open desert, on remote islands. Rinabaritse now was dear sexage, Jesursen nedas ichabursage. Iarndenin is spending the same pattern. Couples wait. They slip into the trees. They wait for the fire to die down and everyone else to fall asleep. Why hide something so natural? Likely jealousy, likely gossip. A public moment can spark a fight that splits the whole group. So privacy here wasn't shame. It was damage control, a survival tool disguised as modesty. Now, objects. If you carry something for miles across dangerous land, you probably don't want just anyone touching it. Archaeologists have found pigment stones carved with repeating patterns, zigzags, cross-hatching, that some researchers believe functioned almost like a signature, a personal mark. And shell jewelry, pierced and strung, found far from any coast, meaning someone carried it, protected it, maybe hid it for hundreds of miles. If you're hiding an object, you're also assuming someone else might take it, which means theft existed, which means secrecy existed, which means even without a single locked box, the idea of, "this is mine, don't touch it," was already fully formed. There's also the matter of feelings. Getting kicked out of the group tens of thousands of years ago wasn't a bruised ego. It was often a death sentence. No group, no protection, no food sharing, no odds. So people learned to manage what they showed, swallow the anger, smile through the grief, save the real reaction for later, alone, or with one trusted person. Psychologists have a name for this now: impression management. Back then, it didn't have a name. It just had a very good reason to exist. Then, around 10,000 years ago, everything physically changes. Farming means staying put. Staying put means building. And building means, for the first time, actual architecture. Take Çatalhöyük in modern-day Turkey. Thousands of people lived there, packed house against house. But here's the strange part: no doors on the outside walls. You entered through a hole in the roof, down a ladder, into your own space. That's not just shelter anymore. That's a controlled entrance. You decide who climbs down that ladder. For the first time, privacy has a physical shape, and once writing shows up, privacy gets a paper trail. Clay tablets from ancient Mesopotamia record personal complaints, family disputes, secret debts. One of the oldest surviving personal letters is a customer furious about bad quality copper. People were airing grievances in private letters thousands of years before email existed. In Egypt, workers at Deir el-Medina, the village that built the tombs in the Valley of the Kings, left behind broken pottery covered in handwriting, not official records, gossip, accusations of theft, love notes, complaints about a neighbor, the most human, most private thoughts imaginable, scratched onto trash and left behind by accident. Even children picked up on it fast. Ethnographers watching kids in modern foraging communities notice something odd. By the age of 6 or 7, children already understand which stories get repeated around the fire and which ones get quietly kept between two people. Nobody sits them down and teaches this. They absorb it, the same way they absorb which berries are safe to eat. So, back to the question. Did ancient humans have a private life? They didn't have locks. They didn't have doors for most of our history. But they had something that worked just as well. Rules everyone agreed to follow without ever writing them down. The passwords changed. The tools changed. The instinct never did. Maybe privacy was never really about walls. Maybe it was there, the moment one of our ancestors first thought, "This is mine," and decided not to tell anyone. If this made you rethink your own idea of alone time, you're not the first person in 100,000 years to feel that way. Subscribe for more stories about the hidden human side of our ancient past.